Welcome to the introduction of Dennis Whitlock. My name's Cody Maxwell. I work with the agriculture community around the county and have known Dennis and his family for quite a while. I also serve as the minister for the Honey Grove Church of Christ, and we're excited to be with you today to introduce your interest in running for city councilman, Dennis. So let's just first start by talking about you and who you are and your history here in Honey Grove, Texas.
All right, Cody. Well, I want to thank you for being here and giving me that introduction. And been in Honey Grove for all my life. I'm 64 years old. I have a wife and 3 kids and 5 grandkids. We all live here in Honey Grove or the surrounding area. I've been here for a long time since I come here when I was born, 1960.
Yeah.
So that's my family background. My son and Zach and I operate what is Whitlock Air Service Incorporated. We're in the aerial application business.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I have been doing that now. We're about to roll up on our 10th anniversary, but I have done that for longer before that. I've been involved in a custom application, either in the aerial or ground aspect now for over 40 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Have worked all over northeast Texas and southern Oklahoma.
Sure.
And some other parts.
Sure. Well, that's giving you the opportunity to be able to interact with a lot of people, and specifically really bringing it down here to the Honey Grove area. And you've got a deep history and deep roots here that lie in Honey Grove, but tell us really your interest in Honey Grove, where it's at now, where it's been, and where it could potentially go.
Right. Well, as far as where it's been, what I know of and have been taught over the years, Honey Grove at its peak at one time was about 4,000 people.
Really?
This was back when cotton was king.
Yeah.
A lot of the old buildings that are downtown Honey Grove were there. They were offices. We had people here that was from England.
Really?
They were cotton buyers. There was probably 5 gins in the immediate area.
Yeah.
And so that's what thrived the economy and the community.
Sure enough.
And a lot of the homes that you see in Honey Grove, the Victorian style homes, the bigger 2-story homes, are a result of all that. And at one time, there was quite a lot of wealthy people that lived here in Honey
Grove. Yeah, yeah. Now, you go back and you look at the history of Honey Grove. I know a while back you served in a government role here in the city. Talk about that and tell us about some things that you did and that experience with being the mayor of Honey Grove.
All right. Okay, yes, I was mayor of Honey Grove at one time. So about 1991, if I got my dates and all the memory correct, Honey Grove switched over from a mayor-commissioner form of government to an alderman form of government, which we have now.
Okay.
So you have a number of places for alderman and a mayor.
Uh-huh.
And best I remember, I was in the first group that was elected to serve in that alderman form of government.
Really?
Did that for a term, got reelected to another term. The then mayor at that time resigned after a while. I was mayor pro tem, so I took over and I fulfilled out his time up until that spot was up for election again. I ran for mayor as a write-in because I did not want to give up my spot on the city council, and so I ran as a write-in, but I got defeated, didn't win.
Yeah.
So served as an alderman for the rest of that term, and when time come for re-election of mayor, I ran for that office, and I became the mayor. I served that capacity for 2 years, and after that, I did not run again.
Well, when you look at the town here, and you know, I'm not a resident of Honey Grove. I married into Honey Grove, and I'm thankful to have been able to do that because the town here and the people are just some of the greatest people that you'll come across. When you look back to that term as mayor, and you look at how things have progressed to where they're at now, I mean, you look at this area in northeast Texas, Fannin County, you know, the newest lake that's been developed in Texas in the last 30 years. You go to the southeastern part of the county, just south of Honey Grove here down in Ladonia, you've got the next newest lake that's going to come. So there's been a lot of changes.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on some of that?
Well, changes are inevitable. some changes are for the good. Sometimes it's for the not so good, but we can't always do something about that. One of those types of changes is age.
Yeah.
It's we as people and as our community age. Sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Um, like in talking about those older homes here in Honey Grove, um, they're still here, but they may not be as eloquent as they were once upon a time.
Sure.
And if they are, that means somebody put money into it.
Right.
And money's what seems to influence and make things go. You talked about the lakes there. Obviously, there's been a lot of economic input into that. That didn't just come for nothing. It
Sure.
took a lot of investment for all that to come about. So the future of Honey Grove can be very good. You don't want to create a pipe dream,
Sure.
but at the same time, you want to be realistic. You don't want it to just nothing come about but age and die off. So you have to look forward and try to come up with something that keeps it going and makes it vital.
Sure.
When I was mayor and city councilman previous, and I feel this way today, there's three things that I see that would be at the top of my list of what's important. One is the water and the sewer. I was very involved in the water system and learn about how it functioned, what it took to make it keep going and maintain it. We did make some changes back then that was for the positive. Same thing in the sewer. It does not matter in your community if it's 2 people or 2 million people. You got to have water and sewer.
That's right.
And another important ingredient in that infrastructure is our roads, our streets. You got to be able to move around in your community. And so for me right now, that would be definitely one of the top priorities to try to figure out and bring some suggestions to the table as how to go about that with the other people involved. But it's strictly, it's not strictly my decision. It's a mayor and a council.
Right.
And I have some ideas on how to make that go about, how to get that funded, and we see how that would go.
I think when you look at the growth, obviously that it has come to this area, infrastructure is something that's extremely important. And when you look at the roadways that we travel on, and then you look at water and the supply of it and everything, I mean, that's certainly an interest of many people whenever you look at it.
That's right. And, when you say that, it makes me think back to before my time as mayor, anything to do with the government of Honey Grove. There was a lot of talk, like in the mid-'60s, about Campbell Soup looking at Honey Grove instead of Paris, Texas, for the location of that plant and facility. I can't say whether that was just gossip or whether that was factual.
Right,
Most
right.
of the people that would have known anything about that are no longer with us. But I will say this. For somebody like Campbell Soup Company to look at a place to locate or have a facility, they're going to look at things about that infrastructure. And they're going to know what kind of water system you have, what's its capabilities, and what you can do to give them what they need. Same thing with the sewer. They're going to look at your fire and your police. So you have to be very realistic about those things when you talk about changes. And that was something that was a hot topic back in when I was mayor before. Everybody always wants to grow and do better for themselves. But you have to be careful because sometimes when you grow, you bring on unwanted problems also. So if you brought in a lot of additional housing or whatever it might be, you overload your water, your sewer system, you just compounded part of your problem. So all those things have to be looked at. And it's not to say that we don't have anything that's inadequate here at the moment. We're mainly a bedroom community. And but those are the kind of things that have to be considered.
Sure enough, sure enough. Well, off air, you handed me a newspaper article. And the date on this article was from the Paris News, Sunday, May 18th, 1997. And in this is a picture of a 36-year-old Dennis Whitlock. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, looks a little skinnier than Dennis Whitlock I know today, but I ran across that here a while back, and the reason I mentioned and showed this to you, Cody, I reread that article, and one of the things that really came out of that for me in rereading it was the fact that things I felt that was important then, I still feel that way today, whether it's about things that we might need here in Honey Grove, or it's about family, community, whatever. So whatever I said back then wasn't just a whim with the wind.
Sure.
I strongly believed in it. I strongly believe in it today.
Yeah.
So I was kind of proud I found that and could look back at it. So it was a nice novelty.
Sure enough, that's pretty neat. So Dennis, in one of your three things that you want to address is councilman. One of them was the water and wastewater management. Talk a little more in depth on that.
All right. When I was the mayor, made a trip down to Austin, signed an agreement with the for the city of Honey Grove with the I believe it was the Water Development Board at that time. We started a project here, which at the time was pretty considerable money wise, especially for a small town. Probably not so in today's dollars; it'd be more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
But we built a new wastewater treatment facility. What we'd had for a number of years, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this. It was we replaced the what had been two different systems at one at that time.
Okay.
So this was about the third system all through the time of Honey Grove. This was a lagoon system treatment plant.
Okay.
It was less mechanicalized. It was easy to expand if you had growth. It was letting nature take do a lot of the work for you as far as how to treat the wastewater and all that sort. And so we started and implemented that there. I was the mayor at that time. Now, I hear in regards to water and sewer, little conversations, comments about the rates.
Mm-hmm.
Rates went up recently. Probably not knowing, not being involved exactly. It was inevitable. It had to come. Not so much that for an immediate fix to something, but it was foresight. It was planning. Would be my take on it at the moment. In order for Honey Grove to position itself to be able to come up with additional funding, maybe at the federal level, you had to make sure that you maximized and did everything you could in your local community.
Yeah.
One of the things being raise the rates. We all like cheap rates, but sometimes you got to do that in order to get to where you want to be. I don't understand some of the things that I hear about the cost of sewer treatment or the wastewater management. So that those are two things I would really like to pay particular attention to. See more about what's going on up at City Hall now. Try to get somewhere better position going forward.
Dennis, as we close out the conversation today, is there anything else that you want to tell the people about you running for city council member?
Yes, Cody, I'd like to urge people here in this community in Honey Grove that on voting day, and I believe it's May the 1st, that'll be the first Saturday in May 2025, be sure and you exercise your right and your privilege to go vote. There's several people running for office this year. Make your selection, pick the two candidates that you feel best and most comfortable with. Go and vote.